even just that 10 minutes of effort makes a difference. It now separates you from people that choose not to make an effort and just go with the easy.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Ian Naylor. He is one of the co-founders of Hyperise, which is a hyper-personalization toolkit for marketers that's pretty cool. So I think you guys are going to be excited about what we talk about today. Ian, thanks for joining us.
Amazing, Chase. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
Ian, I've spoken with, I had a guest on, James, who was very big on personalization in outreach, especially in cold outreach. He has this whole method that he uses where he does personalize things in an image, right? So imagine I get a message with an image and it has my name on it. Well, that's probably going to catch my attention, right? Like, whoa, wait, how did that happen? That's interesting. And so when I met you and we were talking previously, probably a few months ago now, you were showing me some things that I didn't know it could be taken that far, right? So I think we've talked about, and we can talk more about it, but the psychology of why it's a good idea to personalize things if you can.
Yeah.
But I think today I'm most excited to see like how far you guys have been able to take this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right there in terms of the personalization. It really has, a massive impact, and that's really, like I said, that psychological effect, because we process images so quickly. It's like 60,000 times quicker than text. And when you see something, it can be as simple as your name, as you say, but it's something obviously so familiar to you. If you see that in an image, your brain is just putting on the brakes and saying, hey, you need to pay more attention to that, and that's kind of what drives that increased mind share and further engagement. But there's lots of other ways you can do it. Obviously, and your name on a coffee cup is kind of the classic one. Hey, let's have a chat and a call, and the name is on the Starbucks coffee cup or whatever. And that's being done a lot. And so maybe that kind of triggers a pattern interrupt less now because people are more kind of seasoned to it. But there's lots of other great ways. And I think the key with all of this from a personalization perspective is to make it purposeful. So, if you're reaching out to somebody in a cold perspective, as we're talking about now, then it needs to mimic or reference or visualize your call to action. So if your call to action is you, hey, let's jump on a call, then humanize it, make it you, but have a whiteboard next to you with their name on it, an agenda, already kind of detailed to their company. But as you kind of hinted to before, you can go beyond just that textual elements now, and use like firmographic data enrichment. So from a business email, from a website, you can start to get like business logos, screenshots of their website, or specific URLs within their website, and that sort of thing, where you can, like, for example, if you're a link builder and you want to say, hey, I'd love to get in this article, and there's a picture of you and your team around a laptop, and it's got that article loaded on there, that that first of all reinforces it and visualizes the call to action, and then triggers that pattern interrupt, and then the person who receives that, oh, that's my site on their screen, and it's the person that's writing to me. You're humanizing it, and you're making it purposeful because you're visualizing the story of, hey, I checked out your blog, it was amazing. You're doing that, stroking the ego, and then you get that law of reciprocity where they want to respond because you've done something nice for them. But that visualization is the thing that kicks the door down, that gets them to get that, that fuzzy kind of feeling, if you like. And that's really the power behind it. And with this broader capability of visual assets, let's call them, you've got many more use cases. Link building, we just touched upon there. I mean, for example, we work with a ton of businesses that have digital products, or have an outcome that might be like an uptick in sales, traffic, SEO, whatever. So being able to visualize that in a graph and then put their logo on it. For example, like one of our clients, G2, they do lots of reports, matrix reports and those sort of things. They got their reply rates from 15 to 48% by visualizing, mocking up the report, putting a sample across, but having the business name dynamically, the logo dynamically in the key position, the top quadrant part of their reports. So kind of, again, it's kind of stroking the ego again a little bit, but using that visualization of, oh wow, that's our logo already there in that, kind of that report. And of course I'm going to reply or kind of want to know more about that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And so you mentioned the stat that was kind of staggering. So you said we can process images 60,000 times more quicker than text, which is amazing. And, I was actually just thinking about this morning as I was driving into the office, how insane it is, how much you're processing as you're driving, right? Like, and so it makes total sense to me that something so small as just seeing your own logo, you can feel your brain sort of like flash and say, whoa, like pay attention over there. Like it definitely, it's almost like you don't have control over it. You have to sort of take a minute or a moment to focus on what's going on, what you just saw.
Exactly.
So we talked about images, and I'd love to come back around and talk about like what's hot right now, like images. You mentioned the Starbucks coffee cup and how it's been being used a lot and has done really well. And I'm sure part of your guys' job is to come up with the next Starbucks coffee cup scenario. But well, let's start there. Are you guys constantly sort of monitoring and like, okay, well, this one's been working great, and now it seems like everybody's sort of seen it and it's not resonating as much, so we need a new scenario?
I think why the Starbucks coffee cup works so well is it's just kind of zero effort. There's a Photoshop image out there, of a coffee cup. It's included in our platform as a template. The name is the name. It's just literally copy and paste in your template and go on, versus a little bit more effort of, like I mentioned before, like humanizing it. So it's you holding the coffee cup.
Right.
Even just that 10 minutes of effort, if you think about it that way, makes a massive difference. Not a massive difference, but makes a difference. It now separates you from maybe I don't want to put a number on it, but the number of people that choose not to make an effort and just go with the easy, okay, there's a template, and in Hyperise we have maybe over 8 templates now. We're constantly adding new templates, but they're not really necessarily there to say use this exact template, but more for use this as inspiration for your own version. So you might not. So for example, a funny one was one of our clients at Orca Security. Their head SDR came on, and he created this GIF. So that was the other thing I was going to say, that GIFs are a great something that we've seen a lot of clients use now, because the movement of the image draws the eye in, and then obviously the personalization triggers the pattern interrupt, and so it's just an extra layer of kind of neediness of an image. Like, look at me, kind of pay attention to me. So we had Eric from Orca Security, who created this GIF of him in an Orca suit as part of his outreach, and he's going like high ticket figure deals. So it was quite ridiculous for he's going for CISOs, like C-level kind of targeting. But he managed to double the amount of demos he got. And so all of his colleagues were like, okay, we want to do our own GIFs, because this was last year during the pandemic, so they couldn't all go out and kind of buy Orca suits, and they couldn't go to the office to get the one that was there. So they were all scratching around the office, also at home, trying to work out what they could have. And some had whiteboards and some had, but there was this poor guy, Todd. He says, I don't have a whiteboard. I don't have a plain wall anywhere that I can point at. And so eventually what he did, he took a picture off the wall and turned it round, so it's just like a plain back. And so he's holding a picture and pointing at it. But the difference of one, it being a GIF, and two, it being, in this case, Todd. And then we had this kind of prop, which was a thing we were putting the personalization on. Doesn't really matter what the prop is, whether it's pointing at a blank piece of wall, whether you've got lucky to have a whiteboard, either fixed to the wall, or an easel sort of one. Something that you can, if that's the sort of style of personalization you want to go down, humanizing it, I think that works best when the person you're reaching out to, you're going to meet them, because then that helps kind of bring the human connection forward. We have other clients where their call to action is sign up for a free self-serve trial. So what they do is they'll visualize the product. So Hubstaff is one of our clients, and they target HR managers, and they've got a timesheet app, and it's a self-serve kind of call to action. So what they've got is like the kind of a desk or the dashboard, and they can mobile app, so that kind of the remote workers can log their times, etc. it's kind of visualizing the product and how it will make their, the person using it, their life easier, because it's easy to manage their workers, etc. But they had about 30 points of personalization, so like the people in the dashboard, the map on the app, the logos, business names, the kind of person who was kind of logged into the dashboard, all personalized in the images, but also on the landing page. And that drove a 4x uplift, but that was just personalizing product images. So kind of similar to kind of personalizing, as we touched on before, like G2, with the kind of success charts, etc. But there are lots of different ways. But again, with all the different capabilities, having a map that's personalized to whoever's looking at it, so the map is of their location, and that's kind of, so it doesn't have subtle personalization in that way. It doesn't have to be screaming their name, for example.
Well, you guys are also personalizing video now too, correct?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's kind of, in terms of from our platform capabilities, it works very, very similar in terms of the editor. It's just a kind of a drag and drop editor. You drop in elements, and then you can choose, be visible from here, from kind of 1 second in to 3 seconds in, animate in from the left, and kind of fly out from the right or whatever. And so you could have, the way that I would use it typically is you'd have, hey, we checked out your website, and you'd have a video of somebody at a website kind of typing away, and on the screen, obviously replacing that screen element with an actual kind of screen grab. And again, you can use those for kind of video sales letters, but we've also found, because they're so engaging, and also with our videos, they can be interactive as well. So you can click elements, and then either load other videos or kind of other kind of tabs in the browser. It gives you an option to kind of actually kind of really kind of give an interactive experience. We use them for onboarding in our product as well. I'm seeing kind of the support tickets go down as kind of the self-serve kind of help through these kind of videos, or personalized as well, of course. Essentially, you just kind of drag in these personalized elements, but a couple of other things that we've added that we don't have in images. Obviously, you've kind of got the extra dimension of time, so you can kind of set, when they appear, but also we've got text to voice, so you can actually have personalized voice in the video, and we're using Google's DeepMind AI to generate that on the fly. So there's over like 200 voice variants in whatever accent or language you want, male, female, it's pretty much there, and that's just getting better by the day in terms of how kind of realistic it is.
So okay, so this is getting crazy. So let's say I build a funnel in HighLevel, right? You're saying I could have a video on a page.
Yeah.
And because I already have the person's information in HighLevel, when they hit that page and start watching the video saying like, hey, Chase, we had a look at this or whatever, and check this out, and da 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 da. And I'm like, whoa, okay, again, it just said my name. Now I'm paying attention.
Yeah, exactly that. And
how does this all work with HighLevel? If I'm like, this makes total sense to me, how do I incorporate all of this into, so at HighLevel, we're like capture, nurture, close, right? So capture, we talked about in cold outreach or outreach in general, putting things into emails, video, or images that are personalized, things like that. If I'm using HighLevel, how does that work?
Yeah, so we have integration guides for all these. Essentially, obviously, there's a couple of different touch points with the kind of, obviously, the emails, and we have an integration there, so you can add our personalized images into your outreach, into your emails there. Obviously, they could be clickable, going to your HighLevel landing pages or websites, and we have a little JavaScript snippet that you add to the HighLevel kind of in the settings area. Within there, you just drop that in, and then that just enables that kind of hyper personalization, so connecting those assets. And then from there, we have a little website toolbar. It's actually a Chrome extension, so you can just define the personalization in the browser, essentially as the end user would see the site, and that's where you can drop in your personalized images, videos, as well as personalize any element of text on the page.
Wow, that's cool. So I mean, I would love to visualize some of this. Could you show us maybe one or two of your highest performing personalizations, or ones that you found really creative?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Let me just grab your details, and I'll personalize a page to you. So I mean, this is what you're seeing here is a landing page that I use in my outreach. And this is kind of an asset that would be clickable, that I'd send people to from either email or LinkedIn. But to give you an idea of the sort of image I would use, it'll be something like this one here. So again, going back to what I was saying before, I use a GIF. And this is kind of my evolved version of the coffee cup, right? So I'm still framing my call as let's have a chat and a coffee. But now I'm kind of visualizing the coffee in the GIF, and I'm pulling through, you can see here, and this is Rebecca from Loud Marketing, pulling through her logo and her name on my screen, you know, of this example here to Edgar, where we're pulling through his website and logo. You see Edgar's response here. I never reply to these emails. But these images are clickable, and when they're clicked, they would go through to a page like this. You can see in this case, I've just personalized it to you as if you'd clicked the email. So in this case, obviously, we've got putting through the business name here. The main purpose of this page is to get someone to book a call. So I've got Calendly embedded below, again, personalized with the first name and your business name here next to the social proof. And as we go through the page, I'm trying to I guess the philosophy here is that if people are still scrolling, they're not quite decided yet. So we're going to give them more reasons to book the call. So just kind of going through what they'd expect from the call, and then again, using that kind of knowledge that people process images significantly quicker, trying to balance the text and what's going on there with a visualization of that. And again, having some personalization in the visualization in terms of the report that we've got here again, which is personalized as if it's going to be prepared for you with your business name, and pulling through some various other elements here. And of course, we've got the video at the top.
Hi Chase, did you know videos generate the highest level of engagement online? Did you know that using hyper-personalization can 2x conversions? Hyperise leverages the power of these combined to take high-level results to a new level.
I won't play the whole video, but you get the idea. You can see here, we're now at the kind of, we checked out your website part of the video.
Our analysts checked out the HighLevel website, and we have some tips to share with you.
And then we kind of go on from there. And then finally, we've got some interactive options where, again, we've got the call to action of booking a call, which in this time loads out to another tab. Or we've got other options of other videos to watch, which kind of open up kind of in line, as it were.
Hi Chase, welcome.
I'll stop that. And the interesting thing is we get more clicks, more people booking a Calendly event from the one embedded in the video that links out to the tab versus the one underneath. So when we do see kind of a lot of engagement in the videos as well, and I think that's obviously you can grab people's attention, get something a bit different, and so they kind of watch to the end and think, okay, that's cool. I will have a chat. But like I say, this example we just went to there is more kind of like the onboarding videos we would use, where you kind of got what do you want to learn about, you know, pick an option sort of thing. But yeah, lots of different ways of using the video.
Well, that's a really interesting use case of, now we're talking onboarding, which is really cool. So I've already made the sale, but I need to get people set up in my HighLevel account. Yeah. That's pretty interesting to be able to say, you know, which sort of journey do you want to go on first?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what we do with these, as soon as you kind of start clicking through those, then we're going to add other elements.
Interactive buttons.
So you kind of got the kind of narration, which again is done, so you could, you know, have that still personalized. And here we're in videos, we're interactive buttons within videos. We go all the way back to onboarding.
Hey Chase, welcome back. Great to see you again. You're making great progress through your Hyperise onboarding. Great job, Chase. Now, please select another option.
So you see you've got the kind of more onboarding sort of things there, but again, you know, allowing you to kind of get through it. Bit cheesy, but again, you know, with this sort of point, you know, you're trying to keep it lighthearted because they, you know, because sometimes when you are learning, it can be a bit heavy, and so the kind of the philosophy there was to try and keep it interesting. But you know, obviously, this is just one page. Got an example here, and this is at a high level kind of a funnel page, and again, just very simply, you just put the tracking code in here, and on the page, this page right now is personalized to Tim Cook from Apple, but maybe what I can do is just grab your email, and we'll change it and just personalize it to you again. So in this case, you can see we'll pull through kind of high level here, and kind of a few other personalizations. Again, this is just a kind of a test page, but you'll see here is it highlighted up. We're putting through already your names completed and your details, so we could kind of, help kind of improve, or we could even listen to that form. So when somebody completes that form, that trigger personalization as well. But you can see here, just very simply using the personalization toolbar, we can just select any element on the page. So we could say here, for example, put in first name, image personalization in email or whatever.
And so those are the high-level shortcodes that you're grabbing, right?
No, these are actually Hyperise short tags. They're probably just similar syntax because they're very similar. But yeah, these syntax tags essentially will pull data from when we've made a connection. I think we mentioned before, like clicking a link or whatever in an email from HighLevel.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. I would love it if you could actually show us in Hyperise using the high-level integration that you've set up, how I would say build an image that I'm going to use in an email.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So let me go back to here and let's just create an image from scratch and just create a simple one just to highlight the process. So you can upload any sort of image into Hyperise. They can be static images, or like you see here, they can be GIFs. So it could be something you create in Photoshop. It could be something you take on your phone. But I'm just going to select a GIF for now. You'll notice that the GIFs don't animate when we're in design mode, but what I can do is I can just start to drag in elements. So we've got a text element here. I'm going to just put that there. And so like we saw with it when we're editing a website, we've got variables. So I can change this and put in a variable, like say first name. Let's just restyle this. You can't really see that there. So I'm going to change the font color, maybe change the font to something that looks like it's been more written on the board. Permanent marker, maybe. Take the italic off and just increase the size a little bit. Just adjust that on the board. Right, so we've got our first name. Let's just have a little call to action here. Would love to chat. Right, let's do that. And then maybe what we can also do is add in their logo in here. So maybe we'll add the logo onto the canvas. So we're going to have it on the board. So I'll reduce the size a little bit, put it in the corner there, and maybe make it round. And then finally, just for fun, I'm going to add a little love shape in here. So I'm going to choose the shape layer and change that to a heart. Make it black, and then just reduce the size of that and put it about there. So we've got our image now, and I can preview this just to see. I'm not really happy with that space there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove that. There we go. Let's save that and preview it. So we've got Tim would love to chat. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this option here, get image code. I'm going to click add new, and this is going to just select the integration we're going to use our image with. So in this case, I'm going to choose HighLevel. Now we can choose to link this to a landing page. So far, what we've done is selected our image. We're going to add it into a HighLevel outreach. Do we want the image to be clickable? I.e., is the call to action the email, click this and go somewhere, or do you want someone to reply? So you've got the image there to grab their attention and then reply. So we would say no. If we want to send them somewhere else, we say yes. At this point, we can select our website. So if you start creating personalization on any of your pages, it will already be in this list. If not, just click add new, and then you can just add it. In this case, the HighLevel landing page is this one here. And again, we can add in a sub page. So I'm just going to add that in there. So that gives us the full URL. Now, when we click next, Hyperise is going to check whether this page we've just suggested here is already set up for personalization. In this case, we've already added the snippet, which is the thing you would add here in settings in this body tracking area. You see, we've already got it in. If that wasn't there, then there would be a step before you see this screen, which is add this snippet. And again, there'll be an integration guide there showing you how you do it. Gotcha. And again, we've got, we're in HighLevel now, we've got the code. So we can just copy this code and we add this to HighLevel. And again, we've got an integration guide here that shows us exactly how we do that. Step one is what we've just done, copying or adding the integration and copying the code. And then step two, again, we're in the old version here where you can just click view source and paste it in. Or If you're in the email HTML, so the newer, better version, then you can just use the HTML block and just bang it in there, and that just kind of gives it a nicer experience. Either way, once you've done that, you're going to have this dynamic image in your template, in your email template, and wherever you use that template, it's going to personalize dynamically on the fly. So, and let's just, for completeness, go back to here, delete this image. I'm in the old version here, but like I said, we can just equally do that. The same code will work in both. So we can just, I'll just create some space here. And I'm just going to paste that in, and we've got our image there. Anything I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the width equals 100%, so we can just see that nicely in there. And then what we're going to should see is the image pull through. And again, in this case, we can see we've got contact first name, would love to chat. And obviously that's going to personalize. The logo is going to dynamically update using Hyperise's firmographic enrichment. So if you've got a business email or a website in HighLevel, that will dynamically update. What you can also do, if you think that maybe your data is not going to have business emails all the time or websites, you can also set a default. So that default here, default logo, could either be maybe it could be your own logo maybe, or if you want to show nothing at all, we've got a transparency, so you can choose a transparency. So the logo will still show when a logo is available from our enrichment, as you see here. But if all we had was first name, for example, then we're still going to get the first name, but then the logo just elegantly, excuse me, disappears.
Wow, that's super cool. That's awesome. So yeah, if you're using the new email builder, there's a code block, so you would just drag it in, paste the code, and then you're ready to roll.
Just paste that in, save, and then we've done exactly the same thing. And then we've got the image again with the personalization. And again, this image is also clickable, and it's going to go through to our specific URL, and that will pull through all that personalization on that page that we define.
Wow, I mean, when you sit back and think about it, it's really a huge level up, especially if you're doing cold outreach to get a personalized image. And then if they do click the call to action, then the whole page is personalized. I thought that was really, you know, the page that you showed me that said HighLevel all over it and my name all over it, that was pretty impressive. I mean,
yeah.
And there's that guy that I love. So really interesting. Ian, so what's next for you guys? What do you think is on the horizon? Like, what are you working towards now?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things we've recently launched is personalized short links, and it's not something that's so interesting in the email world, but in kind of like social world, it's much more interesting. So a short link for us is, think of it like a bit.ly link, but we can embed the personalized data inside there, like in open graph tags. So when you share that link, you'll still see an image, but it will be personalized. Like the title underneath the image can be personalized. And again, when you click that link or click the kind of the previewed image, it's going to take you through to a personalized landing page. So that's kind of great for sharing the sort of messages, well, pretty much any kind of social platform. So that could be LinkedIn messages, Facebook messages, Twitter messages, Pinterest messages, Instagram messages, Slack messages. You know, so there's lots of great ways that you can kind of start to branch out your your personalization and kind of keep it consistent in terms of utilizing this or kind of personalized images in a way that wasn't possible before. You know, for example, in LinkedIn, you know, having a kind of to upload a personalized image, you embedded it, so when you clicked it, it opened up. So that was great for kind of keeping the engagement in LinkedIn. But if you're trying to take them out of the LinkedIn walls to do something, and that, you know, that option didn't really exist. And now there's a very simple way. So that kind of personalized short links is something we've recently launched, seen a lot of love and a lot of traction with that as well. And we've got a Zapier Zap for that as well. So you can create them via Zaps or via Google Sheet, upload CSVs, lots of different ways to kind of create those short links.
Very cool. Well, so the URL is obviously hyperized.com. Tell me about the free trial.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a 14-day free trial, and that gives you complete access to all of the products. So essentially, we have three core parts of the product, if you like, which is personalized images, website personalization, and video personalization. That gives you access to all of those, as well as being able to create your own custom domains, custom image links, and full access.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing some examples that the community comes up with using Hyperize. So if you guys are watching and you do go sign up for a trial, shoot me an email with personalize something for me. And I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But Ian, thanks so much for coming on to show us this crazy technology.
Case, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I've really enjoyed spending some time with you today.
Awesome. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Appreciate it. Take care. Bye.